looking at?
Ah, stupid battle droids, get out of the way! Hello there. This is General Grievous, and you are watching Southern Comic Geek.
Roger, roger.
What's going on YouTube and Twitch? How are you all tonight if you're watching this live, or in the daytime if you're watching this at any other time? As long as you're watching, that's the most important thing. Now, before we get into talking about all of this comic book goodness, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. So when videos like this go live up ever so randomly, you are one of the first people to know and can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or later, as long as you watch it. That's the important thing. And talking about people that we appreciate, the ever-growing list of channel members, Patreon members, people that are supporting the channel through those memberships who have various benefits depending upon the category. If you're interested in joining either one of those groups or the benefits thereof, there are links in the description below, not the least of which benefits are the monthly giveaways, which I announced today on my Instagram that these are going to be the giveaways for the month of July. And if you are not familiar with Miles Morales' first appearance, second printing, the variant cover as well as the regular cover, these are the two giveaways for the month of July. So if you are interested in joining that, one of the ways that you can do that is through super chats. For every $1 of super chat that you give in live shows like this or on my auctions, then you are able to get in there one chance per $1. Or if you're a channel member, you can get in there as well. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. Also, wanted to do a plug for the channel's first exclusive comic, which is the Power Ninja Toons one shot. And we have some of the regular covers that are left. We do not have any more of the foil or gold covers. Those are sold out. But if you're interested in picking those up, hit me up over on IG and we can certainly help you out. It's always a good day to save some money. And it's also important to make sure that your collectibles are just that, safe and collectible until you get ready to sell them or give them to your kids or whatever you want to do with them. But nevertheless, to keep them safe, we got to put them in the right stuff. And you can find that over at bcwsupplies.com. Use the coupon code SCG at checkout to save yourself 10% on the order. And if you can't remember all that, a link is in the description below for your convenience. We've got some folks already in the chat. Appreciate you all for showing up. We've got Legion Mark from Legion of Comics, who has soon hit 1,000 subscribers, who has already surpassed that 4,000 mile marker over on the YouTubes, is in the chat. What is up? We've got Perry Comics. What do you mean Perry Comics is in the chat? Yes, that is right. The myth, the legend, Perry Comics. Puff Comics 83. What's up? What's up? So I do have an auction tonight at 7 p.m. over on this channel. That's right. I'm back with a lot of new comic books. So if you're interested in that, check me out at 7 p.m. Right here. Same bat time. Well, same bat station. Not same bat time. But anyway, we will get into why we're here at this moment in time, and that's talking to Tim Lattie, who is a creator in the comic book business. What is going on, good sir? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I remembered to unmute myself when I came in. I'm learning. I'm learning as I go.
Well, it's always fun when you got. I mean, you're building up. You know they're. Putting it up for you, and you're getting all the stuff in your mind, how to say it, what words to say, in what order, and you've got all this great delivery, only for nobody but yourself to hear it. You know, it's always.
I did it on Billy Tucci's show the other night. Like I came in and I'm like, here we go, and I'm going at it, and they're like, dude, we can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute. So yeah, technical difficulties.
Yes, technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Right.
So thank you for agreeing to be on the show. I know we were going back and forth as far as times and such, trying to get the times together to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we were able to do that. I met you a few weeks ago at the Showcase Con where you were had your booth, mainly because of your Indiegogo that you have going on right now, that we will talk about in just a little bit. But for those people who might be watching this live or on the rewind that are not familiar with you, why don't you give us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the comic business?
As how did I get into the comic business? I'm just one of those people, man. Like, I just love to draw my whole life. I was came up in the 80s and the 90s, which I know it's not statistically correct, but I consider it like the golden era. Like, it was just crazy. You know, you had I'm in a group on Facebook, the Ultraverse group. Like, you had so much stuff going on. So if you were like an early 90s kid, it was just like a great time to be alive. And comics it was cool. They had commercials. There would be commercials for it on like Saturday morning. Rob Liefeld was doing like Lee Jeans commercials, you know, like it was a thing. So I always liked to draw, was always into the superheroes and stuff like that. And I had a talent for it. I was also fortunate enough to be around teachers and people that promoted it. Like, they encouraged me to keep doing it. Right. And yeah, eventually around, I don't know, 2005, something like that, I ended up getting some gigs at Ape Entertainment. And those were my first comic book jobs. I worked on White Picket Fences. We did a book about the Mothman, Return to Point Pleasant. From there, the editor-in-chief, or the editor, one of the owners there, David Hedgecock, he ended up over at IDW. They took him over, and he ended up over there. And a bunch of the Ape guys ended up at IDW. And that is really where anything notable about my career kind of happens, where I did a ton of Ghostbusters, was able to do some Ninja Turtles, just had a G.I. Joe cover come out, a bunch of stuff. Done some WWE over the years as well. NBA, Jay and Silent Bob. I have everything behind me. So yeah, I've been able to draw a lot of my childhood, which is, I don't know, it's crazy, dude. It's kind of wild how it's been playing out. And cool, like in a good way, obviously.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, and yeah, to think that when you were a kid watching those cartoons with probably a cereal bowl in front of you, like the rest of us were, I mean, even though you were scribbling on a piece of paper at that time, I mean, you probably couldn't have imagined that you would actually be drawing these for a living. So it's kind of surreal.
It was just one of those things. It was like a natural progression. And there were a couple kids at school that they were like the drawing dudes. And again, it was cool. Like, the Reign of Superman had just come out, you know, like Image was just starting. Like, it was a fun time, man. It was edgy, you know, it was 90s edgy comics.
Right.
So
yeah, shoulder pads,
belt buckles everywhere. Yeah. Pause.
Well, you got somebody in the chat that certainly knows your work through Ghostbusters.
Awesome.
But so basically, you've worked for a lot of your, bigger stuff, as you labeled it, has come out of IDW. So how are they a company to work for? Because I know that I've read things, heard things, seen things regarding IDW's. Not to put you in a peculiar stance or anything, but so if you don't or can't answer this, sorry.
No, go for it. I don't care.
But their financial straits of losing, money and all that other kind of stuff. Have you ever had an issue with them? Are they a good company to work for?
Yeah, everybody's awesome over there. It's not. So as far as their financial business, it's not like I get like a spreadsheet and I'm privy to any of that kind of information, you know. Even with the Ghostbusters stuff, I might know about stuff ahead of time that everybody else knows about it, but nothing like not like Dan and them. They're going to be way ahead of the curve. Eric, the writer of Ghostbusters, they're going to know way ahead of time. The people over there, dude, Tom Waltz is my editor. He's been the guy that I've worked with the most. He's awesome. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Bobby Cunroe has been awesome. He's the TMNT editor. Everybody's been great. I have no negative things to say about them as people. And it's a very loose atmosphere when you get into the nitty gritty. So let's say a Ghostbuster project is coming up or something like that. It's just going to be like all of a sudden 8 o'clock at night, you get an email thread going and it's just pop, 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 pop. they're talking, I chime in, I say what I'm thinking about doing for a cover, and they just let me go do my thing, which is how I like to work. I've worked for Dark Horse as well. They're a lot more professional and business oriented in the sense that you're going to call, you're going to have an extension, you're going to have a schedule with the way you do things. You know what I mean? Like you need to have this page done by this time, this page done by this time. IDW, I don't know if it's just with me or whatever, but it's just kind of like, all right, Tim, Ghostbusters Crossing Over is coming out. We need 8 covers, and these, go get them done. And I'm like, on my way. Wow. How's this look? And I like that. I don't mind that. I kind of like it a little bit loosey-goosey.
Yeah. Well, you got another Louisiana guy in the chat. Who Dat Comics?
No way, dude. Night Stars won. Hopefully it'll be worth something soon. Hopefully we can. I actually I got a CGC version of it right here. My buddy Ronnie made for me a 9.8 of a Night Stars #1.
Yeah, I saw that over on your Instagram. I think.
Yeah. What's cool about it is he did that for me like 3 years ago, and I just I just got it. I thought he was doing it in a way to like, hey man, like good luck with the Indiegogo. And when I was messaging him, I'm like, man, you didn't. I was like, that's amazing. I can't believe you did that. And he was like, yeah, I did that like 3 years ago. I can't believe he just gave it to you now. So a little synchronicity there, I guess.
Well, so to clear the air, when you say 3 years ago, it was not CGC holding your book up for 3 years as they're known to do these days.
No. And look, and he's a CGC grader, so he might have hooked me up on that 9.8.
Well, so also I wanted to mention that we're going to be doing a giveaway. So if we get enough people in here, currently we got 8 people watching. Okay. So if we get up to 10, I'm going to be giving away a $25 campaign donation level, whatever way you want to put it, on the Indiegogo for Night Stars. So if you are in here and you're interested in getting that, share this out for other people to join us so that we can get those numbers up and we can give that away.
Absolutely.
So a question I have for you is, why Indiegogo? People think that, the end all be all, and I'm sure it used to be this way, was to work for Marvel or DC. Of course, Image, I guess, to some degree, because they're the number 3 person now. Boom is certainly moving or trying to move in that direction, but
I've worked for Boom.
To try to get to that top tier comic talent, and then you can kind of coast from there. But why would you go through Indiegogo as opposed to even going to IDW with your idea for Night Stars?
Night Stars has been a journey from like day one. Like, it's a passion project. I have other things I want to write. Indiegogo, I did a Kickstarter 2013, and we did great on it for the first issue of Night Stars. I didn't know what else to do at the time. You didn't have the resources that you have now. Okay. And so to get this thing printed and out to people and let them know about it, like, that was your only choice. Now Indiegogo in a weird way is becoming the comic shop. Like, it's almost like Diamond or Previews, where you go on there and you can back some, everybody knows how it works. As a creator, it's the best way for me to go from here to you. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in between. There's not people taking, hey, we want to do this. Hey, we think you should do this. Like, there's no other cooks in the kitchen. So it's the ideal situation if you got your own IP. And I like that. A lot of why I do comics, I have a passion for it. There's no doubt about it. Look around. But it's freedom. You know what I mean? It's freedom. I don't want to have to. I could go work for Disney. I could go out to one of these studios in Atlanta and draw like Squidbillies or something like that. But yeah, I want to do my own thing. I want to. Yeah. So that would does that make sense? You
Yeah,
know?
sure. And the other part that I was wanting to get at is that, and especially for back in the day, you think about Jack Kirby, whose art was
Sure.
held captive by Marvel, and they finally released it. But others who have created these characters that are now iconic. At one time, they were just like Night Stars. Nobody knew.
Yeah. Well, I turned 40 in September, and they have those great memes that are online where like Stan Lee didn't create Spider-Man till he was 40. Jack Kirby
Mhm.
didn't draw the Fantastic Four till he was 40. So that's kind of like that's my
Yeah, there you
motivation
go.
right now. I'm like, all
So
right, right on schedule.
right.
But
And so they have nostalgia basically driving their sales right now, right? That's
no
what
question about it. Yeah.
and so as an indie a creator, to get your idea out there, it's one ideal that you have your creative liberty, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Obviously, owning your own P is more valuable to you long term, especially if the item takes off. And Indiegogo has started offering, that platform that does remove the middleman. That people, if they're interested in projects, if they're familiar with your work with Ghostbusters and other IP already, and they say, "Hey, I like his work," then they can go to Indiegogo and back your campaign and see your work and get it directly. That
I'm
is a
sure
newer thing.
I'm sure everybody has a boss somewhere. I'm sure everybody has, or you, dude, y'all all know the stories about like whether it's like the Star Wars movies or whatever. And you can see, I don't know, man. It's just, we live in a time. If you're a musician, you could do the same thing. You could put your album out. You could end up on Spotify. You don't need the label anymore. You don't need, it's cool. And I'm not talking about anybody I've worked for specifically. I've never had really any. When I draw a Ghostbuster cover, they after the first few, they've let me go wild. Like anytime I have an idea, they let me have at it. So to their credit,
So
oh
talking
yeah, a
about
little Slimer,
Ghostbusters,
dude, a little Slimer.
yeah, this was something that he did for me at the con. So if I backed the campaign, he did a sketch for me, and that I got him to do a Slimer. So
So yeah, I would encourage more people to do it if they have that inclination. I don't know how I've meant. I talked to a buddy of mine. He was just like, "Dude, I just want to draw other characters." So that's not. It's also not the route for everybody. Everybody
yeah.
might have something
Well,
they create their own project.
well, and it's the difference between an entrepreneur as opposed to someone who works a 9 to 5 job. You got to have both to
Dude,
make the world go round, right? It's
dude,
there is a different kind of hustle with putting stuff on Indiegogo and just going out to cons like you were doing at Showcase and pitching your project over and over and over again. And some people go, "That's really not my forte. I don't like that. I just want to draw." So, and that's fine.
it's fun, and I've actually enjoyed every interview I've done. Everybody's been really really cool, but dude, it's a whole nother job. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
whole nother like full disclosure. I could go meet up with a girl tonight. I'm a single guy, and I'm just like, dude, I think I need to do emails. I need to get some other stuff done. Like that, dude. That's really been my debate all afternoon. I'm like, I was like, dude, you need to get some. You got 29 days left, dude. You need to work on this. That was about as honest as it gets, but yeah.
Right. Well, so folks, just feel privileged that he chose to spend his night with you as opposed
I have
to
a beautiful woman waiting for me, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to talk about Night Stars. I'm talking about my comic.
So my favorite Ghostbusters is Crossing Over one.
That's another one where they just let me get away with it, dude. Like I keep wondering. So the first bunch of Ghostbuster covers, and thank you, the first bunch they were a little more, watching what I did, and then I screwed up Crossing Over #1, which is right here. So this was supposed to be. Let me see. I keep screwing it up. I'm screwing up, getting it in front of the camera. But this was supposed to be all Ghost on the cover. That was the game plan. And I don't know. I guess I just read the email wrong or something. I just went and did my own thing. And from there, for whatever reason, me screwing up and not following directions, they just let me go after that. Like Tom Waltz was just like, all right, whatever, dude. And so what number is that going to be? So yeah, Crossing Over #3, that I love the cartoon growing up. That's one of the best episodes of the cartoon, written by J. Michael Straczynski. And I was just like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I took, you know, all those characters, and it was almost like they got on Peter's they got the old costumes, the Stay Puft stuff on their thing, and it was just kind of like a reimagining. My favorite part about it, because I do like this, let's see if I can do this now, is that right there, dude. That is the map from the Ghostbusters Nintendo game, which sucked, but I always thought it was kind of cool to have like the map in there, like it would be hanging up in you know, it's in the firehouse for some reason. Like it's an actual map they use. If anybody remembers that game, you're like a ghost and you're on a map. I couldn't even get into a level. Like it was like the worst game ever. Ghostbusters 2 was fun. But that one, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I don't remember the Ghostbusters game. Was it a regular NES game?
Yeah, it was a regular NES game. And it, like I said, you start off in a map and like you're the Ghostbusters logo and a ghost would land on a building. And then you were supposed to like go over there, and to this day, I have an emulator. I've tried it. I can't figure out how to get to the level. Like I clearly I could Google it. I'm just hard headed, but so you know. But the map I thought it would be fun. It's like so I like throwing in the Easter eggs, and I mean you can see it behind you in the image that you have as the background. Like I love throwing. Just little stuff. Yeah, the game was horrible, dude. Yeah. And dude, you're my favorite, Puff Comics 83. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff, man. And I appreciate when somebody notices it too. Because I always wonder, like, is anybody even seeing this stuff? Like, does anybody even know that I'm doing this? I have a friend that's in a band, and I always like mess with him. I'm like, dude, y'all have it easy. Like, you go up on stage, you play, and the crowd cheers, you know? You draw a comic, it doesn't come out for 3 months, and you never know if anybody gets it. You know, like you can kind of, you know, I drew this thing 3 years ago, and I'm just figuring out somebody caught the reference.
Yeah, it's certainly not instant gratification.
No,
sure.
very, very delayed, for sure.
Well, let's talk about a few things. I'm going to share my screen here. Now, one of the things that you mentioned before we got started was a website called Arcaven Comics.
Yeah.
Okay, so arcaven.com. And do you want to elaborate a little bit on this?
So this is kind of the brainchild of Chuck Dixon and Vox Day. So Chuck, I was messaging him. I was always kind of picking at him once I got his email. And right when they were starting this off, dude, I guess he just, as an editor, he had a project that we could work on. And so they're doing their own. You have places like Webtoons and stuff like that. This would be, I think half the books are written by Chuck Dixon himself, who's just, it's crazy how he works, you know? It's just like one day you just get like a million, there's the one we do, Go Monster Go. Just get a million scripts. You know, I get like 7 scripts in a day or something like that. But yeah, this is something we've been working on the last year, and it's free comic books. Absolutely free to go check out. And I actually really enjoy the format. It's different, but it's kind of like you're scrolling down on like Facebook or Instagram or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just different. I really wonder if this is like where it's going. Because all those kids, like all the little girls that are buying the manga, they're on Webtoons, you know? Like they're not going into the comic shops as much as we are. We're kind of the old guard. And I always use this as my example. Dude, when was the last time you bought an album, like of a band?
Mm-hmm. Like
I live on Spotify, you know? And I'll buy a t-shirt. I'll go buy something else to support them, you know? But, yeah, I just wonder if it's definitely a possibility that this is where it's going.
Sure. And so for people who might not be familiar with Chuck Dixon, he's co-creator of Bane. And so he's done a lot of work in the industry, but his Batman work is what I'm more familiar with.
I mean, he did it it had to be almost 20 years. Mm-hmm. You know, he wrote Robin, he wrote Nightfall, all that stuff. It's crazy. And that was back in the day where you would have guys doing that, like Dan Jurgens and Doug Monick. Like they would just be on a book for, you know, Death of Superman. that was thought out so far in advance. These things were really, really planned well. And I don't know if you get that anymore from the big two. Not in that sense. Not in the point where they're talking about like a Hank Henshaw 5-6 years earlier, and then he becomes the cyborg or something, you know?
Yeah, they're really not going to put the big two. That is, it's not going to put somebody on or somebody's on a title for that length of time, like they did a Chris Claremont as an example.
Great example.
After Image comic creators left, and they were left holding the bag at Marvel, they're never going to do that again. You know, because they don't want somebody to be so enamored with the creator as much as the product. So.
Good point. I agree. Which goes back to the Indiegogo and stuff like that. Like that is almost like the Image comics now. You know, like Image just became the thing that they hated in a weird way.
Right.
They did. All those guys are the editors now. They're not letting you. They don't. This is it. This is the new Image. Is just do your own thing. So I think it's exciting.
Yeah, and you know, in some ways, it's harder than what it was back in the day because I mean, you had so many publishers back in the day, and you had newsstands and everything else that was getting your product out in the mass. But with less people reading that paper type product, less comic book stores to distribute the product, no newsstands to distribute the stuff. In some ways, it's harder. But there's never been an online platform. Think about YouTube. I mean, I've got people that I have sold comics to in Australia and England, and you know, people I never would have met otherwise. Back in the day, Mile High Comics was the farthest thing I got to, you know, buying online. Right? I had to.
Right. Yeah, they had the ad, and you could pick a comic off the list that they had in the back of an issue or something. Yeah.
Right.
No, there's no question. It's, do you have the vision to see it? Like, because I'm always thinking about that. Like, what is going on here? And when you go to like a Barnes and Nobles, dude, those walls are littered with white bound manga books. You know, there's more manga books than there are graphic novels. And when you go over to the graphic novel section, it's just going to be full of Batman and some Marvel and stuff like that. So there's an audience there. There are kids out there. There's a youth out there that wants this stuff. How do you get it to them? But you're not. I don't think they're going the way that, if you're going to keep, comics is also a medium that is really, really behind the times. They're like one of the last ones to change. And even in the sense of how the books come out, like that model is kind of insane that you come out with. I think you should just do trades. I think you should just do full stories in graphic novels at this point. Like doing a monthly book and stuff like that. Like you did that because of the newspapers. You did that because
and the other thing with putting it out monthly, in which I like getting floppies, I collect, you know, the issues every week, but they are being written now as graphic novels.
They know. Yeah, they know. Yeah, right.
Well, let's
just skip the point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that I started to notice myself a series would come out or something I might want to check out. And I'd tell myself, I'd be like, I'm just going to wait till the graphic novel. I'll just grab the trade, you know, instead of coming back every week, or maybe I miss an issue or whatever. So I could see that in myself changing. I'm different when it comes to old books. Like old books, I love getting. I mean, I grabbed this the other day. You don't need to zoom in, but it's Dave Stevens, Johnny Quest. Beautiful friggin' cover. Unbelievable cover. And I love it, dude. I just have it out. I want to look at it. So I still like having them in my hand and everything, but I lean towards grabbing older books if I'm getting floppies personally.
Yeah. Well, who dat ask, are you going to any conventions? If so, which ones?
I'm debating. We were just talking about that off air. There's nothing in the time that this campaign is going on. We got 28 days left, just about 29 days. I wish there was something. I wish I had like one every weekend, because there was a bump after Showcase Con. There was like a little, you could just see it. I've debated Dragon Con. Dragon Con falls on my birthday, my 40th birthday. And I'm just kind of torn on if I want to do that for my birthday. Because I was invited as a guest. I don't know. I'm kind of
So they have
more full disclosure. I'm like, dude, do I go to Floribama and go to Orange Beach, or do I go to do I want to like work? So I'm kind of torn.
So they do have Cowtown, which is in Dallas next weekend. Not this
Okay.
weekend, next. They got Houston Palooza, I think. Is that next weekend? Or yeah, it might be next
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah,
So
the girl that works with me was asking me if I was going to that one. But no, I had never talked to them, and everything's just opening back up anyway.
right.
So it's kind of wasn't really prepared for it. Showcase kind of came out of nowhere, and that's one of my good buddies that runs that show.
Yeah, and now Fan Expo is coming out. That's not going to be till September, but
Okay.
yeah, that's going to shaping up to be a big one too. That's kind of close. So let's get into Puff Comics says if you ever come to MegaCon, I definitely want to meet you. So MegaCon,
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
And Puff, actually, I was looking at. I've still got a tab up here on my browser because I was looking at MegaCon because I'm actually thinking about going to MegaCon down there, and if so, we can hook up with you and some of the other guys that are down that way. But
I know Puff Comics, you my fave, dude. You know all my Ghostbuster stuff. Yeah, absolutely. First drink on me, buddy.
So let's get into the end reason why we are here, and let's talk about some night stars. So I heard you mentioning earlier that there was an earlier night stars. So this is not the first book that you've done with these characters?
No, so this is a culmination of all those, but this is the trade of
Okay.
those. That's what I was doing all these years. So when I did the first one, that was my first real. I was working at a bar. I was a doorman at a bar. I had issues with the owners. I quit. That's still like my best friends, but I quit and I was just like, all right, dude, I'm doing this. Like I'm doing my comic. And that was like my first jump in. From there, that's when my career kind of got started and all the IDW stuff and everything started going on. But every year or so, I was able to keep going back to this story and working at it and putting out an issue. We were lucky enough to go to New York Comic Con every year. My buddy Michael DeShesser became my partner in this. We even did one for the United Nations. We ended up doing a Night Star story for the UN that was featured on the NASDAQ opening bell. So this is kind of a little engine that could, and it just felt like the right time to put the whole book together,
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's put it out there. Like, we got a full story. We're going to add one more chapter to that story. And I have other stories I want to tell in this universe. And if, you gotta jump some point, you got to get in the water at some point. So we were like, let's do a hardcover, let's put it out there. So for $25 plus shipping, 125 plus page hardcover comic book. And I'm taking those earlier pages and recoloring them as my skills have improved over the years. And I'm very, very happy with the way that's turning out. Because a fresh coat of paint just changes the game.
Sure. Well, let's see if I can play this little starter video for people who are not familiar with it. You won't copyright strike me or nothing, huh?
Yeah, I'm typing it in right now, yeah.
All right, so let's do this here.
I got a letter from 13-year-old Ryan from Belfast. Now, Ryan, if you're out in the crowd tonight, here's the answer to your question. No. As far as I know, an alien spacecraft did not crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. And Ryan, if the United States Air Force did recover alien bodies, they didn't tell me about it either, and I want to know.
We were abducted from our everyday lives. Now we are lost in time and space, hoping to find a way to change the future by battling our way through the past.
Let's see. All right. So for Night Stars, basically we have teenagers time traveling, journeying through the past, solving history mysteries. So this is the Indiegogo website, which I included in the description below. So if anybody is watching this on the rewind and are interested in backing of this project, the link is in the video description. Currently, there are 69 backers and 36% of the goal of $10,000. So there are several different packs, if you will. You got the emoji set, the sticker packs, the Night Stars Volume 1. This is a PDF of the book itself.
Yeah. Somebody, Pops Van Zandt brought that up, and it was a good call. Especially for the overseas people, like shipping just not economical for a lot of it, and it sucks. I wish I would love to get it out more, and that seems just like the best way to do it is do the PDF. Okay.
Well, I mean, and if you're stateside, it's an inexpensive option. Some people are okay with the digital read and some don't. That's fine. This is the one that I personally backed, was the $25 option, which shows 26 of them have been claimed. This is the one that I'm going to be giving away tonight to somebody. So be sure to stick around to the end so we can get that done. But there is a variant. So this is just a variant cover of that.
Yeah, that's by Dan Schoening and Louis Delgado. So the main Ghostbuster artists, main IDW guys, they were gracious enough to do an alternate and just rocked it, knocked it out the park as usual.
And so the Out of Time bundle, is that just an extra shirt? Is that the difference between that?
Yeah. So you get the T-shirt along with it.
Okay, I didn't know if the woman came with it or what. But
No, everybody keeps asking that. No, unfortunately not. That's not the girl I'm meeting up with either, but
just to clarify. Okay.
No, that's my friend Kiki.
So the historic collection, it has both the variant and the regular cover?
Yes, correct.
Is that the difference? And then you get a head sketch with this one at 160, which 3
any character you want. And again, any character you want. So if you just want a generic commission, that's you get everything in the project plus, if you want Peter Venkman or whatever, get whatever you want.
And then it just goes up from there. So
as far if you got $3,000 to blow, you can get the cover.
So I thought this was kind of neat. So the page is actually laid out to this picture then, right?
Yeah, so years ago, it was just an idea I had to connect the inks into, have a hidden image within the page. And you can kind of see, the biggest picture right there, the soldier chewing on the cigarette or whatever. His bandolier is going to be part of the image. The lines from her are going to go through parts of that. It was an experiment I did, and I just saw it all the way through. The eye was the hardest thing. I was like, that was page 19 of the book. I was like, if I can get through this page, I was like, it's easy. So just something fun. I think we're going to have that as a stretch goal. Make that one of the posters. I did it with a Fathom comic years ago. I did it with a Fathom sample and showed it to Michael Turner. So that's how long I've been thinking about doing something like that.
Well, that's definitely a lot of thinking to make all that.
It's a lot of fun. Go try it. It's a blast, guys. It was. Yeah, it was. There were some tricky pages in there for sure.
So this is what you mentioned earlier about Night Stars being listed on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, that's a cool video too. Man, I don't know. You can't make it up, man.
Using comics to help illustrate these complex but very important goals, we came together with another friend of mine, Sean Southey at PCI Media Impact. Now, this is an NGO across the street from the UN that specializes in making entertaining, substantive content for developing countries. We're really grateful to UNICEF for being our core partner. We're really thrilled at all the artists that have donated their time and energy to make these comics come to life. Sharad Devarajan, Tim Lattie, Michael DeShezer, and Maria Schneider for Eco Boys and Girls. These comics help illustrate the importance of working together, and the greatest superpower in the world is all our collective actions coming together to help make this place a livable, exciting planet for years and decades and generations to come.
That's my buddy Michael off to the left, loving it.
Yeah, it is kind of surreal to think that your stuff gets featured on the NASDAQ.
Dude, y'all, I'm the biggest like meatball in the world, dude, and like end up on the NASDAQ. So that's why I say it's the little engine that could. Michael Uslan backed it, like he's been around since day one, helping us, giving us advice. My theory on it is this, and I told you this, like I believe in the product. I know the response when people read it. I've seen it. I've seen it over the last decade. How do you get it to people? How do you let people know about it? That's always been the issue here.
Sure.
So that is, I'm just gonna keep chipping away at it, man.
Keep missing those dates and hanging out with folks on
right.
YouTube.
I'm gonna get a little takeout, dude. I'm gonna work on my Go Monster pages. I'm gonna send some emails. I'm just a lonely guy over here, sitting by myself.
So he's so lonely, guys. If you haven't backed his project already, be sure to back it.
Right. I need to get out the house. Y'all need to help me, man. I'm never going to get a woman like this. So
the toy figure, does that go with any of the backers, or is it a certain level above?
Yeah, so that's our game plan right now. We need to get to 10,000. 3/4 of that is going to printing the book. So, and then shipping and stuff like that. All these prices go up. So that's the game plan. Anybody over the $50 tier, if we can hit our ultimate stretch goal, you get a free action figure. So that's going to be something we're going to really focus on once we get in demand. And like I said, my game plan is just stay on the horn. So we just got to get over that hump. We're funded. We're in demand. We're going to get while we're getting everything together, still keep going out there and try to let people know about it. And we thought that would be a cool incentive to, hey, if you share it with your friends, if you tell your buddies, we could get a free comic. You could get a free toy, free fully posable action figure. That my buddy Adrian Melton, he sculpted it. I designed it. He sculpted it and just took it to the next level. I mean, the guy's so talented. I mean, you can see it when you look at it.
Well, so I did have to ask you a question about this post on your Instagram, because I collect Hulk 181 homages.
Oh, no way.
Well, if you notice the channel's first exclusive cover that I did showed earlier, it's the Hulk 181 homage, and my wall over there is, surrounded by the original, but the foreign comics, the homages, et cetera, et cetera. So what is this off of?
So this is the other Kickstarter that's going. So my buddies Mike and Tim, we do a book called Super Bud, and they launched that, I don't know, like this week, like a few days ago. So that's the cover of that book. It's about, I'm hitting y'all with all the sales tonight, man, but it's about these guys that they eat some medical marijuana, like super strand of weed that's experimental, and it gives everybody superpowers. It gives them all these like wacky powers and stuff, and it's very funny, and it is worth checking out. So that is the new cover of that. That's the guy's little brother, the big green Hulk looking guy. Like, he gets hungry, eats a whole plate of brownies, and now every time he farts, he turns into like this weird Hulk creature. Like, that's how his powers go up and down. It's a funny book. It's good. So we got a very diverse collection here that you can choose from.
So
but it's one of those where I'll laugh when I'm reading the script. I'm like, Jesus, dude, I can't believe I'm about to draw this,
So that one can be found on Indiegogo as well?
No, that's on Kickstarter.
Okay. So Kickstarter. All right. Any reason why one would pick Kickstarter over Indiegogo?
No, I think they just had been going with Kickstarter the whole time.
Just
Not-
platform you're used to using.
Yeah, it was a decision that we made with the Indiegogo. I don't know. It's like Coke or Pepsi. Like what's kind of better. I just felt like Cyberfrog and everything. I felt like everybody was over on Indiegogo now, more so. I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong.
Yeah, I was just curious. And so what we're going to do now is do the giveaway for the $25 backer. And since it is $25 either way, I don't care whether or not they get the regular versus the variant cover. Either way. And if you win tonight, just hit me up in the DMs over on Instagram, and I can get your address so I can, key it into the account and all that kind of good stuff. So let's do that. So
Yeah, my feelings won't be hurt if you choose Dan and Lewis over me. Like, it's all right. Get whatever cover you want.
So since you are the guest tonight, I will let you choose. So basically the way we do the giveaway is to do a hashtag something. And so what would be a good hashtag for them to spam the chat with right now?
Oh, man.
And so should it be just Night Stars, something that easy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. Night Stars Indie? I don't know. Whatever, because Night Stars, who knows what you might come up with.
All right, so
you're gonna get people in their backyard, like shooting, clouds and stuff.
All right, so we're gonna just put Night Stars. So okay. I'm gonna type it in the chat, and we're gonna do hashtag Night Stars. So if you type in hashtag Night Stars in the chat, you got to do it exactly like I put on there. So Night Stars plural, just like I got it. If you just want to copy and paste it. Otherwise, the giveaway tool will not pick you up for those folks in the chat if you don't type it in exactly like I've got it on there. So Night Stars, let everybody do that, and we will get this ready over here. All right, All right, so I think we've got everybody. There's Scarecrow, one of the sellers for the auction, in just a little bit. So let me share the screen right here. Chrome tab, giveaway tool. All right. So let's see who is going to be the winner for the Night Stars $25 backer deal. Let's draw away. Puff Comics, your biggest fan.
Oh, dude, perfect. Oh, nice. I was going to say, if I had to pick, who I was picking, dude. No, I'm glad you got it, man. That's cool.
Hey, so hit me up over on IG, and I can get your address and stuff. So when I key it into Indiegogo, it'll be sent to you, and you can go from there. But for everybody else, anybody else who is interested in backing Night Stars, who has not already backed Night Stars, the link is in the description below. As we wrap things up, yeah, man, you won. But as we wrap up, again, I appreciate you for coming on and doing the interview. Anything else that you want to talk about, anything we missed, any upcoming projects you wanted to plug, or anything else?
No, I think I flooded y'all enough with projects tonight. No, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks everybody. Go check out the campaign, see if it's right for you.
Yep. And so with that, folks, appreciate everybody for showing up tonight as you're watching this live. If you're watching on the rewind, that's good too. But in either case, be sure to drop that hammer down on that like button, subscribe button, and bell notification. So when videos like this go up, you know about it. You will not be in the dark. You will have a chance to win the books like Puff did tonight. And till next time, folks, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.